Jangan lupa like dan subscribe.
Blue core engine succeeds in maximizing combustion efficiency by utilizing fluid and combustion analysis technology. At the same time,
always goes well here. He's got a 10
Is it fun?
deficit to race one behind Japan Lady.
it is fun. Yamaha Blue Core.
Both depending, of course, on what Zakwan has in the locker for tomorrow.
Yamaha next generation.
Coming back as a wildcard and of course clocking impressive lap time after lap time. Then tomorrow you will start from pole position in the 600cc race. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, today I'm really happy for qualify the first in the first lap. I mistake about is the brake system, and I go out to prepare bike, and I go out to better time to qualify. Yeah, and today, and thank you to Yamaha Thailand and everybody to support me. Tomorrow I will try to my best and good result.
In terms of tire choice, do you know what are your tire options for tomorrow race if the weather stays the same?
Maybe S tire, yeah, maybe S tire, but and it's the afternoon for race. Water too high. Not sure.
Okay, thank you so much, Apiwat. Congratulations once again. We'll see you on the starting grid in tomorrow's race.
So there we hear it from Apiwat. He's thinking of tyre choices tomorrow, of going for the S compound, the soft compound. In India, Dunlop, the control tyre provider.
by one flying lap, and whatever lap times they get during that session will determine their grid positions for tomorrow's race. So I am trying to catch my breath a little, but I did see many of the riders out. They're actually right outside the commentary box, waiting to head out on track. So the first group we have a total of 5 riders out on track: Shafiq Rosli, Khao Vietnam, Paitun Naktong, Natawar Rongki Sawas, and Muhammad Azhar Abdul Jalil. So now we are keeping close eye on Khao Vietnam going around for his flying lap. So whatever position the riders get in Super Pole, it will determine grid position. And this, as far as the update I received, only involves the top 15 riders from qualifying earlier this morning. Because we have a total of 22. We have a total of 19 underbone riders with us this weekend. And only 15 riders, the top 15 riders from qualifying will get to participate in the underbone 150cc Super Pole. So this is the first group of riders who are crossing the finish line. So we're gonna wait for all 5 to cross the finish line, and I'll give you guys a quick update on who is currently in provisional pole position. Alright, as you can see, the second group of riders preparing to head out on track, and in the yellow livery is Owi Nuharda, the wildcard for this weekend with SND Factory Racing. So the first group of 5 riders have just crossed the finish line, and we see that replacement rider Natawood is currently quicker. So Natawood is here this weekend in replacement for Fakruzi Shakirin, who is injured. Okay, so we also have Barry back in the commentary box with us. So of course, Barry, so we saw the first group of 5 riders heading completed their Super Pole, and now we're about to see the second.
Yeah, so we've seen Natawut, who's replacement Thai rider. It's quite unusual to see a Thai rider in this series, actually.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, knowing that not just 1, but we have a total, I think, of 3.
Yeah, we have 3
Thai riders with us this weekend.
Yeah, Natawut, yeah, very good rider. You can see from his performance there. Paitun also, he's regularly one of the top riders in both the Yamaha R3 series in Thailand and the Open 400 series, which is super competitive, and it's where Yamaha Thailand bring their riders through to ultimately where Apiwat is today.
Yes, the good thing I realized about manufacturers like Honda and Yamaha, they're starting to have a lot of younger programs, you know, to start them really young and to have them progress throughout all the different classes and try out different types of machineries as well.
Yeah, it's a terrific investment they make in Thailand, which of course I know better than the other countries, but they both, Yamaha and Honda, go all over the country, and they hold races in big car parks and the kind of thing that the Cup Prix do in Malaysia. and they just put the fast kids on bikes and they see who comes through, and then they go on to the national series where they'll race, say, a Yamaha Exciter series, something like that, 150 scooter type bikes, and then they'll bring them through the satellite teams and ultimately, as I say, through to the Yamaha Thailand factory supported team. It's a really well planned, well executed, there's some real strength and depth to it, and a huge investment as well. But motorcycle sales are very big, of course, in this part of the world.
All right, so as we're speaking, the second group of riders are heading out for their Super Bowl. We have Malaysian rider Haziq Fairuz, Hafinas Muhammad Ali, and I think I also saw Owi Nurhada in the yellow livery, the Indonesian wildcard rider. And then behind him we have Anggi Setiawan, and I think right behind them is Amirul Arimusa. So the second group will consist of another 5 Admo 150cc riders.
Yeah, of course we're looking at the top 15 qualifiers from the earlier qualifying session today. Number 96, Anggi, he's been going well all the way through.
I think this year Anggi is definitely following the ARRC for the first time. He's definitely been able to gain a lot of big circuit experience. I think with a lot of young Indonesian and Southeast Asian riders coming in, it's good to follow the ARRC. And it looks like Amirul is trying to figure out.
Yeah, a bit of a problem there. That's usually they're not looking a bit concerned. Yeah. Himself a former champion, as I believe.
Yes, well-known name in the Asian region and also in Malaysia.
So this is Anggi on screen now.
No, I think this is Haziq about to go on his flying lap. Anggi was just released early on, so we have 5 riders, and Haziq is now on his flying lap.
Of course, the great benefit of having a Super Pole shootout for the top qualifiers, particularly where you've got these very light bikes, is to get rid of the slipstreaming factor, so you can actually get the riders to do what they can on the machines that they're sitting on. As you see, tucking down right underneath the handlebars there to reduce the drag, the wind drag. The riders generally they'll know, they'll put their head down so they can't see, and they'll count, and they'll know pretty much when to look up and start braking.
Yeah, I think definitely an interesting thing to see what kind of trick and trade, they'll be able to try. Because I know when we first introduced the Super Pole, I think for the first time, and some of the Indonesian riders weren't really aware, and they were actually trying to use like one hand to change gear,
Yeah.
And after that we kind of set the rule like, no, no such thing. But definitely they are very creative, in terms of trying to find ways to shave off any second or any time that they can.
Of course, you create a set of rules, particularly for this class where you've got a lot of young riders who have absolutely no fear. But that's the fun of the series. We always see such great racing for so many years, and this year we moved from 130 to 150cc, and it's been really successful. It's brought more entries, and we've had some really great racing this year.
And of course, this morning, I think some of even Meng Heng were talking to some of the Underbone riders regarding exceeding track limits. So, I mean, for the jury side, how are you gonna keep an eye on them tomorrow when it comes to race?
Well, the facilities we've got here in race control, we've got something like 38 HD cameras,
which the riders don't know.
All around the circuit.
Which they don't know.
Well, these guys know, because they get called up to race control and they walk in and they see this whole wall of TV screens in front of them, and they go, okay, maybe I need to stay within the white lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can see obviously what's happening, and if they exceed the track limits, going on the curb like that, by the way, is perfectly fine. But whenever we see it, they get a penalty. In qualifying, they'll lose the lap, and apart from that, they will they could get a penalty.
But if they're racing in a large group, which often happens in underbone racing, how would you expect them to react if they do exceed the track limit? So do they just go behind the group, or how would they try to avoid getting penalized?
Well, if they exceed the track limits, what they need to do is lift off, put a hand up to say, "I'm sorry, I apologise, I know what I've done," and provided that they rejoin the track without having gained any unfair advantage, because the race has to take place between the white lines. If it doesn't, you're cheating, right?
That's true. It happens in every race, you know. So I mean, I'm sure these riders will have to learn, and like you mentioned, you guys have 38 cameras, so there's no hiding or
absolutely not,
or sneaking up on the jury.
Absolutely not. And it's not only in this series. I was talking with the safety officer here, Dean Delato, earlier, and he showed me the sanction sheet from the last World Superbike round. There were 68 sanctions, like exceeding track limits, like slow riding during qualifying and practice, everything that we see here, but there was more of it. And these are experienced world-level riders.
Maybe that's where these young riders pick it up, you know.
Yeah, they do, but what they don't see is the sanction sheets.
I know, because I saw Akid Aziz earlier on. I think yesterday he got fined for exceeding track limit, and he looked rather sad, you know, bringing his wallet from his paddock, trying to come and pay for his fine. So
yeah, well, we said in the rider briefing that you can exceed the track limits, but you're going to get fined, and you're going to have to pay it. It's not going to come from your teammate.
Yes, I think Akid definitely learned his lesson yesterday when I saw him. So alright, so we completed the second group as well, and Indonesian rider Anggi Setiawan is currently sitting in provisional pole, and we're waiting for the last 5 riders. So these are the key riders to look out for, would you say, Barry?
Yeah, I would indeed. They've been at the top of the timing sheets in all the sessions so far. As we're looking there at the technical area, which is where the Super Pole session starts and finishes. But yes, we've seen the reigning champion, Wayu Trilaksana was what I was trying to get to. He's going very well here. He's got a bit of a deficit to make up in the championship, but he looks good, and Aziz has been at or close to the top all the way through as well.
Yes, I think with this being one of Wayu's favorite circuit, I mean, we've seen him win multiple times in the underbone 130cc class, so he's definitely has a favor for this circuit, but hopefully luck will be on his side, because as you said, it is quite a big deficit to make up in one race weekend. Yeah,
it is, and I think at the start of the year he expected to retain his title, but the rules changed, so a lot of things changed, and when the rules changed, as they did here, from 130 to 150cc, one team is going to get it more right than the others under the new regulations, and probably that's what it's down to. But the racing is always so close here. I think that was Helmi we just saw going out there. He's been going well. He's also been to race control a few times.
I'm sure you have met some of them throughout the season in race control. Because of course, the underbone, it's not just about exceeding track limit. The thing that often happens is the slowing down, of course.
Yeah, that's right. It's just minor things. It mostly relates to exceeding track limits. And there is the 2016 champion, Wayu Trilaksana.
But to be honest, how much of an advantage can they get if they do exit track limit? Is it like proven, or is just? Well,
if on the, for example, on the exit to the turn, if you run off and it's just more tarmac that you're running onto, and you keep the power on, then you've effectively got more space on the track, so you've taken a wider, faster line, and if you keep the power on, that will give you an advantage. And if it happens in qualifying, that lap gets cancelled. So we keep it as fair as we can, and base it just on numbers, not on. It has to be quantitative. You can't have things that you're arguing about. Oh, well, it was because of this or because of that. Well, there you are. You just exceeded the track limit, and the lap is cancelled. That's it.
Yeah, simple as it, you know, simple rule. But sometimes not that easy to follow for some of these riders.
No, absolutely. They are, especially these young, ambitious riders. They, as you said, Ling, they look for every bit of advantage they can, as any young sportsman will.
We are looking at the final 5 riders. Let's see if someone can take pole position away from Anggi Setiawan.
This is Helmi just finishing his outlap by the look of it. Engaging character, always got a smile on his face.
Yes, definitely. Helmi always one of the more cheerful rider in the paddock.
Yeah, there's a few of them. The atmosphere, I think, in this underbone class is
very community-based.
Yeah, it is. It's like somebody like me would say it's more like the old days when people used to help each other out, and there was a lot more camaraderie in the paddock. But it does have that, and it's great fun. This racing is great fun. I mean, basically, you take a road-going light motorcycle, you strip everything off it you can, you tune it as hard as you can within the regulations, and then you add a small lunatic.
Yeah, because I think, as you mentioned, I mean, everything is very new to some of the teams, with it being a new class category. So I'm sure there's a lot that they exchange information, and they would like to learn from each other and hopefully help each other improve.
Yeah, for sure. And these guys, you know better than I do. They've been around this paddock for, and many of them have been around for a long time. A lot of the team managers are former racers.
Yes. And the unique thing about some of the mechanics that we were joking about it when we switched to the 150s, that, you know, typically you see mechanics getting their hand dirty, you know, all in the bikes, and nowadays you see all of the mechanics in the airport carrying laptops. They have to travel with laptops now, you know. Previously, you know, they'll be just traveling more lightly, and now it's all technology. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely a big step up, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Even these small family motorcycles, they've got USBs they're going to plug into, because these are fuel injected, these machines, whereas the 130s were carbureted.
And what people don't know, it's quite a large investment, I think, to develop a new bike, especially for teams that don't have that much experience. Because I think in Indonesia and Thailand, you guys have already moved on to fuel injection a couple of years before the Malaysian teams.
Yeah, that is right. There's not as much underbone racing as in Thailand as there was, say, 5 years ago, but it's still a great place to start. It's nowhere has proved better than that, than the Cup 3 series, and of course this one, which is, I guess, the natural place to progress to from the Cup 3. But it's proved itself to be a breeding ground for GP riders.
And I have to say, it's still one of the most exciting races to watch at the end of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we were talking about Zach Wan earlier. He, I think I'm right in saying he won the Underbone series and
the 600
in the
same year.
In the same year. So there you go, versatile rider, and he's still only 22.
Yes, he is.
And
chasing his third title. I think if he gets the third, he will be the second most successful super 600 rider we have had in the series.
Yeah, good for him. He's a super smooth rider. He's an absolute gentleman as well, isn't he? A great guy to have in the series.
All right, so we see that Wayu Ajitri Laksana crossed the finish line, but he only managed to get P2, and Muzakir sits in third. position. So Anggi Setiawan hanging on to provisional pole position. We only have... but before I could finish my sentence, Azroy Hakim Anwar has just stolen pole position.
So Cheryl Husey happy there?
Very, very happy.
But Azroy, one of the riders that's shown well all through the event so far.
So there you go. Azroy Hakim Anwar will start from pole position in race 1 tomorrow afternoon. Followed by Anggi Setiawan and Wayu Aji Trilaksana wrapping up the front row.
Yeah, no, in 5th place have the replacement rider Nata Wood, and then Hazik Ferwez, Amarul Arif in 7th position, and in 10th position Helmi. He's got something I think left for tomorrow's first race.
Yes, because with underball racing, what the riders usually tell me, grid position is not the most crucial thing, because then in the end they all get bunched up anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we've seen riders starting from even the last row, and by 1 or 2 laps he's just right there in it to win it as well.
Yeah, they just go in a swarm. In cycle racing, you call that a peloton.
Alright, so that is the end of qualifying for the AP 250cc and the Supersport 600cc, and also Superpole for the Underbowl 150cc. I would like to thank Barry for spending some time with us this afternoon. Thank you so much for all your insights as a jury.
It's been a huge pleasure, Ling. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And stay tuned, guys. We'll be back later on for the Suzuki Asian Challenge Practice 2.
Halangan. Kalau perlahan, kamu akan tertinggal. 1XOX, pilihan pelabaya terbaik. Kepuasan meluncur laju. Tak peduli mereda halangan. Kalau perlahan, kamu akan tertinggal.
Jangan lupa like dan subscribe.